Hey everybody, welcome back to the 30 Minutes of Fame podcast. Today we're bringing the funk, the fire, and the full rock star package here. We got multi-instrumentalist singer, bassist, producer, Yellowstone actor, and a man behind the viral banger Get the Funk, Mr. Billy Ray Rock. Welcome to my show.
Thanks for having me, man. Good to be here.
So, you grew up in a house with 11 kids. How hectic was that?
Well, it's funny. I get people asking me that, man, and it really wasn't that hectic because by the time I got to the point to where it mattered, everybody was moved out that was older because it was such a wide range. So to me, my big thing when I was growing up was just being like an 8-year-old kid and listening to my uh, older sisters come by pissing and moaning about their husbands and their marriage to my mom. So I never had to split a piece of chicken with them, but I had to split my sanity having to hear that nonsense every other weekend. But other than that, it wasn't a lot.
Yeah, my on my dad's side, he had 16 brothers and sisters.
Oh my
So
God.
I've got cousins and relatives all over Canada that some of them I haven't
Holy
even met.
smokes.
It's crazy.
Wow.
But my grandfather was in his 40s, and when he met my grandmother, she was in her 20s. So I don't
Oh
know what
wow.
happened there, but 16 kids.
Good God.
Nice job, Grandpa.
Well, at least you'll never be homeless.
No, that's for sure. So you started as with rap and hip hop, and then
Yeah,
you
when I
moved
really
into
first started, it's so funny. The first song I ever sang in front of anybody, I sang during lunchtime with my buddy Gary and Robert Mejia. We were just high school kids, and I was playing my bass, and I sang this song called SOS by the SOS Band. And that was actually the first song I performed. The first song I ever performed, like in front of a big crowd, was I playing the bass guitar. Actually, I played and sang "The Breaks" by Curtis Blow from way back, you know, and I did that song. And but look, man, my history in music is varied because the little town I grew up in, man, it's obviously before iPhones and all this, and the town I grew up in, you had basically two radio stations. You had one station called Kino FM, KYNO, and they played everything, which was funny because they would play, I don't know, they played the Moody Blues, and then the next song was the Ohio Players. So they were all over the place. And
yeah,
so when you listen to music back then, um, there was no getting around what they call back then a white folks music. There's no white people music. Yeah, and I didn't care. My sister thought I was weird. I was like, man, I like this, the Tin Man song by America and a lot of those types of songs. I still listen to them and I love them, but nobody in my neighborhood, it's mostly black neighborhood, could figure out what's the matter with that boy. Because when those songs would come on, I'd be like, oh my God, that, that's Tin Man. Oh my God. And you couldn't record it. So I'd run and turn the AM radio up and gonna listen to the Tin Man. And he was like, man, you are nuts. But I mean, you went through it, but I think a lot of groups like Casey and the Sunshine Band, of course, Elton John, tricked a lot of black folks as we all thought they were black, you know. So when I grew up, they would say white people music, and at the time I didn't know either that they were white dudes. But when it came off they were white, it did a lot to kind of crush those, people's belief in certain genres for different races, and I
yeah.
think opened a lot of minds. And but it influenced me a lot in terms of the music that I did because then I felt like, man, I like all this stuff. So it's kind of got me here.
You know what's funny is that so I predominantly like a metalhead, 80s metal, 80s rock,
Okay.
a lot of you know a lot of that stuff. But I was in an incident in '94 when I was knifed by three guys and in a
Oh
hospital for a
man,
while. And
goodness.
but so my brother said, you know what cassettes do you want me to bring in? And the one I wanted the most was Run DMC Down with the King. That is my
Oh
favorite
yeah.
favorite rap album ever. And But yeah, like just hearing you say that, like my music taste goes everything from rock to country to reggaeton. Like my
Nice.
playlist is so messed up, but I love absolutely everything, which is why I love this show because I've had every type. I've had a harp player on here, country singers, like six or seven rappers.
Sure.
There's no boundaries, right? Anybody can listen to anything, and it's
That's awesome. Yeah.
one of my
True.
favorite videos sometimes to watch on TikTok though is he's talking about black music, but like just black people listening to like Nickelback for the first time or something, and there's
Uh-huh.
those kind of blind listens, and they're like,
Yeah.
wow, these white
Isn't
people have
that-
been hiding this from us for so long, and
Yeah.
it, it's hilarious.
That is funny. Yeah, I've seen those. Yeah. Yeah.
So you play more than 10 instruments,
Yeah, 13.
13 instruments. Which one is the best, and which one do you secretly suck at that you just kind of wing it?
Uh, Look, I always tell people with the instrument thing, yeah, I played 13 different instruments, but I am not Prince. I'm not going to outplay you on your instrument. I ain't that good. Okay. But if I pick up any of those instruments, you know that I know what the hell I'm doing. But my best and favorite instrument is my bass guitar, of course. Um, and probably the worst is probably the violin. I'm like the worst at. I play. You don't want to, you know, cover your ears and run and hide when I grab it. But I, it's not my stronger thing. Um, it's really was stifled because I was learning it and getting really good at it. And then when I start to get into electronics and keyboards that sample the same sound, I just kind of laid off of it. But now they've got back then when they had the violin song and a lot of these keyboards and Moogs and just different things, you could tell it was electronic. But now it's gotten to be so good where the instrument breathes a little bit, where you really think it's an actual violin. It's like impossible to distinguish. Um, but yeah, I'm terrible as it goes with violin, and not my thing, man. I mean, I'm a big Charlie Daniels fan,
Yeah.
but that's his. Yeah,
Now, speaking of Prince, you were at a party years ago where he was there.
yeah.
You were afraid to approach him. Did you end? You didn't approach him. What's the story there?
What happened was I was in L.A. and the name of the club escapes me, and I was there. Well, at the time, I had a song back in the mid '90s that did some big things called Booty Slide. It was during the booty shaking era. Remember that? Shake that booty, shake, shake, shake back in the day. And I was with Universal Music Group at the time, and my song was like number one in in the Carolinas and in the South and all that. And so I'm with the mindset that my career is about to blow up. I'm like, hey man, I am on the cusp. It's about to happen. So when somebody came to me and said, hey, look, man, Prince just came in. I go, where? He's over there. I'm the biggest Prince fan ever. And he was standing over there and he had his, 8-foot bodyguard. And I just remember standing there looking, and I thought, I bet I can go over there and get an introduction and shake his hand. But you know what, man? My song's about to blow up. I'll run into him again. We're going to meet again. But it will happen again. When we meet again, I'll be able to actually have a conversation with him. I won't be fanboying out and all that kind of stuff. So I didn't go over there. And it was the biggest mistake, one of the biggest music mistakes of my life. It's like, oh my God, I could have met him, talked to him, passed it up because I kept thinking, well, in a month or so, we might be buddies. And it never happened. But, you know, I was struck though by how actually short he was. That was,
Yeah,
you know,
I was
it was,
lucky enough to see his last live show here in Canada.
oh, is that
It
right?
was 5 or 6 years ago, and like I've been playing guitar since I was 10, and I was just mesmerized. Like, man, it was just start to finish. I was just, like my jaw was just wide open. And then of course you see everyone around with the phones, and I'm just like my
Mhm.
phone's in my back pocket.
Yeah,
When I go to a concert or I go to a sporting event, I try and live in that moment and enjoy that
yeah,
moment. And I mean, sure,
Sure.
I'll take out my phone, take a couple pictures, but it's back
Isn't
in there. But it's people have forgotten just how to enjoy those moments, right? It's so,
that the truth? Oh my God. One of the things that annoy me the most when I see clips online is artists singing and then turning the mic to the audience to
yeah,
sing. It drives me bananas. I did not pay a cover charge to hear a bunch of drunk people 2 rows behind me scream lyrics out.
yeah,
I paid to hear you sing. I want to hear you sing the song and I want to enjoy you singing, and the sing along bull crap, it drives me nuts. And I see the biggest and brightest doing it. I caught a new edition clip. They were driving me nuts doing it. I think some of the people that are the worst at it are rappers, you know. Um, what's his name? Welcome to the party. What the heck is his name? Well, I'm drawing a blank. But there was a rapper, I was saying a rapper that got killed. Well, that narrows it down. I know there was a rapper that it was had a big hit, Welcome to the Party. And I am not remembering his name. Anyways, I saw a video clip of him and I was looking for it because I wanted to hear him sing live. And I did a deep dig and I saw probably about 8 or 9 different performances. And not one was he singing any of the rapping any of the lyrics. It was all doing this, blah, 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 blah.
yeah.
Sing it with me. This was the whole show. And I thought, what a shame, you know? And the one thing I enjoy about somebody like Prince is that he got up there and sang the songs. And you can pick and choose your moments where people yell out a lyric or two. There's no harm in that. But I know that here recently, Justin Timberlake got crushed for just doing it too much.
Oh yeah, yeah, just this whole show.
His whole show, yeah, he's just dancing and the song is playing and people, because when you do a concert, as you're aware, you're on stage and there's always like a belly of people in the front row. And these people in the front row, 3 or 4 rows, they want to be part of the show. They're screaming and all that. But you know what you also have? People behind them, and you got
Mhm.
people in the rafters on both sides. They just came to see you perform. So every time you have the belly of the room scream out verses and all that to way too much, you're basically punishing the people in the rafters and people behind them because they just showed up to see the show. They didn't show up to see people in the belly in front of the room, in front of the stage, scream out the lyrics. And so it's frustrating for people at the show. For people like me, it's frustrating. I think that it could be a generational thing. I talked to my 16-year-old son and he tells me, "Oh, Dad, I'm cool with it. Yeah, I'd love to be there." So I get that.
Well, now you got
But
the people doing the TikTok lives from concerts, trying to get the gifters even at the hockey games, you see people just live streaming like, oh my goodness,
yeah,
just give it up.
yeah. Oh, it's terrible.
I
It's
remember when I
terrible.
was in like grade 7 or 8, I went to see Motorhead and Alice Cooper was one of my
Hmm.
first concerts I ever went to, and I couldn't hear for like 3 weeks. But after the show, I'm like, man, I can't wait to talk about this at school tomorrow. Like, there was no, obviously,
Yeah,
no phones back then, but it's
yeah,
maybe that's why, I'm just old school, but I just like living in the moment.
absolutely, man. You got
Um,
to. Go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say, you had a song, "Get the Funk," that went pretty viral and charted pretty
Yeah.
well on the R&B charts. What was that like to,
Well, Get the Funk was an interesting song because when I did it, my kind of point was to pay homage, figure out a way to pay homage to a lot of funk artists from yesteryear. And it's 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 hard to do, and it was hard to do um, because I didn't know how many people would hear the song and recognize the artist that I had on the song. And the demographic of people who know those songs they're old compared to modern listening audience. So I knew that the song had to have like a good like little pop to it, but I didn't know if the pop that it had to the rhythm was going to be enough to keep people's attention to even want to know who these artists were. Now, when I was putting that song together, the one that inspired me the most in music as my brother Freddie, I go he was about Freddie J. Um, when I was a kid, before I even knew that I liked performing music, we grew up in this rickety old house in Fresno, and his room was behind my room. He was always back there practicing his sax. And I was like, man, this is crazy. You remember, there's no video games back then. So it's just, I was just like, oh my God, and he just, I want you to just stop. And I would tell my mom, she goes, boy, that boy back there practicing his home. You need to go outside and play, or you need to deal with it. And I was like, this is like brutal. Well, anyways, a while later, the band he was playing in was called Black Fur. And they were all white guys. No, I'm kidding. That was called Black Fur. and and they're a funky band. Well, anyways, they got a gig where they performed at my school for lunch. And I was like, oh, it's okay. Yeah, they're playing. Well, when he said, thank you guys for having us, and the show ended, all the little girls ran to the edge of the stage for autographs. And I was like, oh my God, there's girls up there that I've been trying to get them to just say hi to me for the last 6 weeks. And they're begging for an autograph. What would happen if I played, like if I embraced this? Oh. And I just had like this evil plan. And at the time I was playing clarinet. And then I switched from clarinet to trumpet, and then from trumpet to trombone, and then this to that, and all around. And because he inspired all that, what I did to get the folk song, I had to have him on it. And so I reached out to him. I sent him the track. He heard the track. He put some funky stuff to it. And then I sweetened it up a little bit. I don't know if you know that song, uh, You're Gonna Have a Funky Good Time,
Yeah,
James Brown song.
yeah.
And then you got that, the trombone solo, that goes in it. It's got these background funky horns playing along with it. So I wanted to do something like that behind him just to kind of pay further homage. So yeah, I'm really proud of this song, And when I play live, I don't play the whole song. I play like about probably half of it almost. And I dip out of it mostly in part because I don't have him there with me to do the horn solo, you know. But I absolutely love this song.
Beautiful. So you got a part coming up on the TV show Yellowstone. How did that happen? And tell us
Well,
about your character.
absolutely. I did that. I did the part already. I was in season 5 and the finale and all that. And it's a lot of fun, man. I mean, it was filmed in Helena, Montana. Um, got the call, came on, did it. I played a senator. Um, and with Wes, who's in the scene as well, who plays Jamie, the character Jamie. Um, so it's a lot of fun, man. One thing you learn about being on a set with the series like that thing's a beast. I mean, they got, oh my God, Helena, Montana gave them all the permission to film what they need to film there. But I mean, they took over the Capitol building basically, which was amazing because I'm assuming they got Capitol work to do. It's a state building, so I'm sure that wasn't cheap. I mean, it's
Oh yeah.
it's not. It's funny because one of the guys that I was on the show with, his name is William. He's a great guy. I guess he was I think he was a congressman, an actual congressman or senator or something in Montana, and we got to be really good friends. In fact, I text him every now and then to this day. But I thought it was interesting. I'm meeting an actual politician who's playing a senator. So you got a politician playing a politician. So that was kind of interesting. And he was like, "Yeah, man, I'm actually, I'm the real deal." So yeah, that was a very fun. I learned a lot in that experience. I didn't get a chance to meet Taylor, um, but he's got so many shows going on that didn't really surprise me. Um,
Were there any rules on set? Like a friend of mine shot a movie with the Olsen twins back when they first started, and he was
Uh-huh.
signed a contract saying he wasn't allowed. They weren't allowed to go talk to them, and all these little specific rules, like he couldn't go talk to this person, anything like that, or
Yeah, you couldn't talk to anybody. They took all your phones, you know. They you know, they called they had people like babysitters, if you will, that monitored people to make sure you didn't drift off to try to find somebody famous, you know. Um, and so there's a lot of that kind of stuff. But yeah, when you sign your paperwork and all these NDAs and this and that, because the episode of the final season I was on was super secretive.
yeah.
They only divulge how the series ends and the finale and all that. So yeah, you had to sign all that stuff, man.
Wild. So, a lot of my shows on here are about mental health and music. How do you feel music helps your mental health, like your escape?
Well, for me, I just lost my kid's mom
Oh no.
this past New Year's Eve. She fought a hard battle with cancer, and and did all she could do to stay alive, and finally, won out. And for me, man, music is great to keep me centered in the creation of it. I was with her for just over 20 years. Um, Music is like anything when you're battling mental health. It can be medicine to lift you up, it could be poison to take you down.
Mm,
So I think, regardless of where you are with regard to your mental health, just like anything else, just like alcohol or any other thing that can be addictive, moderation of the music. Because I can't, like I'm a big 70s fan. Love listening to 70s music. Um, I'm still at a space to where, because her and I love 70s music, um, you put on some 70s, two or three songs from that era you put on, man, I'll be in tears in 30 seconds,
well,
you know. And so, there's certain landmines of songs that I've got to be careful with until I'm ready to be able to hear them on the songs on their merit, you know. But a lot of that kind of stuff takes a strong foundation. And not everybody has a strong foundation, you know. And if you come from maybe a broken home and don't got that foundation, um, any song could trigger you. And next thing you know, you're on a bridge jumping, you know. And so I think that music, and as it relates to mental health, people just have to remember moderation is what's going to keep you right. You got to be careful for those songs that trigger you, to try so you can just remain in a good space, in a great space, And so, but my happy spot is making and performing music, and it always has been, you know. And so, even having experienced that loss, you know, um, she knew what music meant to me, and wouldn't want me doing anything different, And and so that's kind of my dissertation on music and mental health. But I think
beautiful.
you got people out there, that when you're rich and you got just a shit ton of money and you got mental health issues, it can be a scary thing because there's nobody there to be the adult in the room, you know. And so everybody's saying yes, and you do enough of that, and all of a sudden you got Kanye West. So you got somebody just fly by their own, and everybody's scared to tell them no because you know they don't want to lose their job or whatever. So it's the tricky thing, man.
That's beautiful, man. My grandmother passed away in 2001, and I was a pallbearer at her funeral, and the
Hmm.
song "How Great Thou Art" was playing, and I hadn't been able to listen to that song in 25 years, like without breaking down. And then about a month ago, I played it and sang it at a multi-denominational church concert here, and I'm like, I'm just gonna play it. I need to get over the song. And
Sure.
about halfway through, I started to struggle a bit, but this whole audience just kind of took over the chorus and started singing along with me. It was only like 30 or 40 people,
Right.
but to me, I felt like I was in a room with 20,000 people and they were singing the song with me.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
now that song, that bad memory from that song is gone, and now it's replaced with this one.
That's awesome.
And that's the power of music, right? And it's an old hymn,
Awesome.
and but
Awesome. I
it's
always felt
beautiful.
like, but I always felt like music is one of those things. It's one of the only things that you can play a song and you will remember where you were when the song came out, what time of your life.
Hmm.
Sometimes you remember what house you were living in. You remember who you were dating, depending on how old the song was. It's the only thing you can plug in that'll take you there, you know. But if you ask somebody, what were you doing in the summer of 1982? They'll go, I don't know. Because you play the song, oh, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember that. That was during the summer of 1982. Yeah, that's when me and Rob, we was boys. We had this old Chevy. Like you got a whole video story. And I think that that's the reason why, in a nutshell, why I do music. Because I want to create something that years from now, when that song happens, it's going to create an awesome memory of somebody or something or a time in their life, you know? And so, yeah, I mean,
That's beautiful, man. That's pretty
yeah.
powerful. So what's next for you? Like what new album
Well,
coming out? Any
I got a new single coming out called I'm Happy, which is kind of funny. I was just talking to my management about it. We decided it's going to be the new single. It's going to come in after the Four Fingers Get Up. And then what I'm going to do also, I'm going to be performing in Idaho Falls this upcoming in May. I'm going to be in Idaho Falls at the Roadhouse Saloon. And so that's going to happen on May the 13th, May the 14th, no, the 13th, I think. I don't know, it was that week. And so I'm doing that. My song Four Fingers Get Up is doing some big things over in the UK right now. It's like number 6 on their soul R&B charts over there on
hmm.
iTunes. And then I'm doing and then I've got on the Euro charts, I think it just got skipped up to whatever 26, I think it is, or something, out of like 300 songs. So so all this stuff's going. So I'll probably wind up in the UK doing some stuff. There'll be some festivals I'll be popping in and out of as we get into the summer months and the festival days. And of course, if anybody wants to know any and follow all of that, go to my website, billyrayrock.com. Or they can hit me on Instagram at Billy Ray Rock on the number one. And then they can get me on my Facebook at Billy Ray Rock, but you got to type in the number, you got to spell out one, ONE, on my Facebook.
I'll put all your links in the description
Oh,
so anyone
nice.
that's
Okay,
watching go
cool.
check that out.
All right, on.
And but man, it was a pleasure talking to you. I really enjoy your music, but I have a very eclectic taste. I love everything. My a few of them are going to go on my playlist for hitting a heavy bag, as weird as that might sound, but it may be in with my Run DMC section, but for those
Hey,
kind
let
of
me
chill
get,
nights at the gym, you know?
that's all. Can I do a quick shout out real quick before we get
Of
off
course,
here?
of course.
Look, first off, shout out to my deceased wife. I know she's watching me do this, and she loves, she just watched me, baby. I love you. Always love you. Shout out to my brother Freddie J. Shout out to Mike. My publicist. Shout out to DB Entertainment. Shout out to any and to all these people out there, man, that follow me, man. Yeah, and you have me on here, man. I always feel incredibly blessed when anybody give a crap about anything I do, man. It's an honor. I don't take it lightly. And anytime anybody wants to talk to me about stuff that I put together, man, I embrace it. And I really do thank you from the bottom. I've been in this game a long time, and every time somebody wants to talk to me about what I'm doing, man, it's a blessing. And and being in that moment, I'm in this moment, and thanking you, man, for having me.
Beautiful. I respect that. I appreciate it. So now my one question I kind of forewarned you about that comes at the end of all my shows.
Okay.
A I have some pretty heavy and some dark conversations on here sometimes with people going through stuff. This is my way to ice break every episode, and I've just stuck with it. But
Okay.
a 100-meter pigeon carrying contest. How many pigeons could you fit in your arms and still have left in your arms at the end of a 100-meter race?
Two. One in each hand, brother.
That's it. All right. That'll put you not in last place. Last place is 0, so nobody ever beat that. A lady was on that had a phobia of pigeons and Canada geese.
Oh, I
So
see.
so
Okay.
so, so you're not in last place. But yeah, anyone listening, go check all the links I'm gonna put down here. Go give Billy Ray a follow on TikTok and Instagram, whatever ones you use. But yeah, just say something nice. Say one nice thing to someone every day for this year, and you can change someone's life.
Absolutely, brother. Thank you, man.
All right.
Appreciate you
Have,
having
have a
me.
great day. Thanks for coming
All
on
right.
with me, and everyone go check out Billy Ray.
You betcha, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we spread some good vibes up in today. I'm feeling good, man. We got everybody up in here, man. We got Freddie J up here on the hall, and Terry over there. Old Rick Birchmore outlaw, he's sitting there doing his thing. I see him over there. We're all up in here. You feel good, bro? Yeah. You feel good? Yeah. Tell you why. Because I'm happy. Because I'm happy. You should know. Because I feel good, yo. Because I'm happy. Because I'm happy. You should know. Because I feel good, yo. Made every green light, and I just got paid. Nobody can stop my shine. See the clouds, but I got no rain. My bills caught up. I'm about to catch this. I'm cruising at an altitude that your haters better get used to. I ain't saying that your life is trash. I'm saying that I can't look back. Just vibe with me and laugh. Bend over while I spank that. Because I'm happy. Because I'm happy. You should know. Because I feel good, yo. Because I'm happy. Because I'm happy. You should know. Because I feel good, yo. Left my stress in another town. Not gonna let the devil get me down. Take that drama to another block. I just saw the cops. I didn't get stopped. It's Friday night and I'm doing me. Just got a DM from a dime piece. You wanna come by and shorten my night? Man, she was bad too, brother. I'm telling you, man, she was a bad. She gonna send me a text message about hooking up. Man, it's a good day to be me. Just hold my drink.